Hello and welcome to Breathe, Dance and Yoga. I'm Kat Merrick, and in this video I'm going to guide you through my festive flow. So this time of year can get a little bit chaotic, overwhelming, and there can be lots of attachment to tradition and the way things should go, and obviously at the moment things aren't as they usually should be. So this is about really tapping into one of the yamas. So from the 8 limbs of yoga, we've got the yamas and a parigraha, which means non-attachment, non-possessiveness. And so this is really asking us to let go of attachment to expectations of maybe situations and of others as well. Maybe you are wanting a certain response from a gift that you're giving, and attaching too much to that can leave us feeling we might not want the reaction that we get. So having no attachment to that, maybe just giving for the gift itself. And also maybe traditional ways of meeting at this time of year and things that happen, being open to new experiences, so we're not attached, so we can allow a little bit of flow, and we're not trying to control any of those situations. We're allowing ourselves just to be present within it, and we can search for the joy in the smallest of things, so being open to that. So we'll set an intention today just to be present right now in this moment, that we can then allow ourselves to take through into the Christmas period and into the new year as well. And allowing ourselves to be open to recognizing joy in the small things that are around us, that are with us every single day. And because it's a festive flow, I will have some Christmassy festive postures within it, but more than anything, this is about just being present. So we're going to start lying down. So come down onto your back, and you can do this with knees bent. You can have your hands resting on your belly if you want, or with your legs extended, or you can have your arms to the side, but really something that you're comfortable in. I'd like starting a class by lying down because it allows us to access the breath without needing to hold our posture. But I'm going to sit up now whilst I guide you through this bit, so just make yourself comfortable, making sure that you've got your legs in the position that you want, and then just bring a sense of release through the body. So just a letting go. Quite often we're holding tension we don't even realise. See if you can soften. Just give in to gravity here. And just see if you can begin to notice the contact points of the body, the back of the head, the back of the shoulders, the back of the hips. And then if you've got your knees bent, maybe the soles of the feet. Or if you've got your legs extended, the back of the calves, the heels. And as we do this, we draw our awareness into the body and out of the mind, providing a little bit of distance between the thoughts, and allowing some time just to be present with the body. And maybe use this as an opportunity just to mentally scan through the body from the head down to the feet, taking your time with that, and just noticing what is present today. How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling mentally? What emotions are present with you at this moment? And just be a witness and observer to these. There's no attachment to stories or what they might be what might be the reason for them. Just notice them just as an observer. And then bring some awareness onto your breath. Again, just as a witness, an observer. No need to change anything just at the moment. Notice the rhythm of your breath. Is it slow? Is it fast? Is the inhale equal to the exhale, or is it different? Where in the body is the breath moving? And then let's connect into that breath now. So keeping the mouth closed, we're aiming just to breathe through the nose. And as we breathe in, it's a really gentle breath, like we're breathing in a delicate thread of air. And that breath is reaching down into the belly, into the lower part of the ribs, and we're keeping the chest relatively still. And then as you exhale, the ribs draw in, the navel draws in, and we release the breath through our nose again, really gently, like that thread is uncoiling. And just find that way of breathing. So you might notice if you're often breathing into the chest that feels quite different. So really allowing a softness in the belly, expanding into the lower rib cage. The back expands as well. And we're trying to keep that breath even over the inhale and the exhale. And as you breathe, allow it to slow. And we're going to use resonant breathing, or coherent breathing as it's known. So this is 5 breaths, 5 counts in, 5 counts out, making it 6 breaths per minute. So this is really good for heart rate variability. It allows us to become resilient to stress and allows us to switch into that parasympathetic nervous system, feeling a real sense of calm. So starting with the inhale, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, out, in, and out. In and out. In and out. Continue with that breath. Feeling that sense of calm drawing in through the body already. And so really setting that intention now just to be present through the practice. And as we take the practice off our mat later, being open to allowing that joy through in the smallest of moments. So we increase our awareness to the small moments around us. Let's bring some movement into the body now. So wiggle the fingers and the toes, lengthen the legs if you've got them bent. Circle the wrists and the ankles. And then lengthen the arms out behind you. Lengthen from fingertip to toe. And hug the knees in, giving them a gentle hug. And releasing the head back down. Head and shoulders down, hands onto the knees, circling the knees opposite directions to one another, bringing awareness into those hips. Noticing how they feel as we bring some mobility into that area. Good, and reversing that, guiding the knees around. And then releasing those feet down into the mat, hip distance apart. Keeping the shoulders on the mat, we're just tipping the knees over to the right. So we're allowing a twist into the spine. Exhale, draw the hips down, back to the mat, back to center. Inhale, drop the knees over to the left, keeping shoulders on the mat. Exhale. Let's do that once more each side. Inhale to the right. Exhale, back to center. Inhale over to the left. And exhale, back to centre. Good. We're going to make our way to sitting from here. So as an option, you can hold on to the backs of the thighs and rock your way up. Otherwise, drop over onto your right hand side again and guide yourself up carefully into a seated position. So if you need to, sit on a block or a cushion or even a little stool or a chair, but we want the shoulders stacked above the hips. So sometimes it's easier to have the knees a bit lower than the hips for that to happen. So if you're kind of cramping up a little bit here, then grab something to sit on. And then from here, just take a little roll through the shoulders, but again, bring in some mobility and awareness into this area. And really draw your awareness to the scapula, the shoulder blades, as they really create a big circular motion. And then as we inhale, send the hands away, reach to the fingers, press the ground away with the sitting bones, find length through the spine. And exhale, releasing those arms down. Good. And again, inhale. And exhale. One more of those. Inhale. And bring the palms down, connecting thumb to sternum. Again, just taking a moment here, connecting into that intention of just being present, but also to take it with us after this session as well. So really aiming to be present. And then as we open those eyes, let's shift into a tabletop. So bringing yourself into tabletop position, all fours, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Just feel the spine in a neutral position, the front body gently hugging in. And then as we inhale, we'll come into cat-cow. So starting with the inhale, lift the head, lift the tailbone. As we exhale, draw the navel in. Tuck the tailbone under, press the ground away with the hands. And again, inhale. And exhale. And once more, inhale. And exhale. Releasing into tabletop. And then from here, sink the hips down onto the heels. You might want to bring the toes together a little bit. Rest the chest down onto the thighs. Reach the hands forwards, forehead to the mat. And just take a moment here. Come back to that breath. Feel the belly expand onto the thighs. And feel that reach into the arms as well. So we begin to open through the back of the body. And then lift up onto the fingertips so that your forearms are lifted away from the mat. Keep the chest reaching down. Walk the hands over to the left. And then breathe into any tight areas on that right hand side. Staying connected to breath, staying present. Walk the hands back to centre. And then over to the right hand side. And then back to centre. And then from here, let's come up into a downward dog. So coming back to your tabletop, tuck the toes under and really think about the top of the arms externally rotating so the inner elbows facing forwards. And then keep a deep bend in the knees, lift through the sitting bones and press the mat away with the hands. So don't worry too much about the legs for now. Really feel the sitting bones lift into the sky. And then lift and lower those heels as we pedal through the feet. Mobilising again the feet, the ankles. And if you want to take any little twists on the balls of the feet as well, bend the knees. And then coming back to your downward facing dog. And then walking the feet in towards the hands. And releasing over those legs. You can have quite a generous bend in the knee if you want, forearms onto thighs. Or you can release over, straighten the legs a little. And as an option, you can take hold of the elbows and sway from side to side in ragdoll. Releasing those hands, give the head a nod. Shake of the head, shrug the shoulders. And then draw the navel in, tuck the tailbone under, chin to chest. Feet uncurl. All the way up to standing. Good. Take any little movements that feel good. Good. Okay, so from here we are going to come through into a sun salutation. So from the front of your mat, finding your Tadasana, nice length through the spine. As we inhale, lift through the arms. Exhale, hinge at the hips, folding forwards. Inhale, right foot back, finding a lunge. You can lower the back knee if you want to. And then we hold the breath and we release into a version of plank. So again, that might be with knees down. You can lift the knees away if you want. Keep pressing into the hands. Engage the core. And then as we exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, cobra. It can just be a baby cobra, or you can take Sphinx here. Glutes engaged, shoulders down. And then exhale, moving into the downward facing dog. You can have a bent knee if you want to. Think about that lengthened spine, neutral spine. Breathe in here through the nose. And then exhale, bend the knees between the hands. And we bring the right foot through. If you need to, drop the knees first and then bring it through. Lifting that back knee. Exhale, both feet together, folding forwards, hinging at the hips. You can keep the knees bent. And inhale, lift through those arms. And exhale. Good. And release, finding your Tadasana. Just take a moment here. Oh, my mat's going off on a tangent. And we'll do that again. So from the front of your mat, inhale, lift. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, left foot back. Option to lower the knee if you want. Holding the breath, releasing into a version of plank. Exhale, lower. And inhale, cobra or sphinx, shoulders down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathing through the nose. Keep pushing the mat away firmly with the hands. Lifting through the sitting bones. And then exhale, bend the knees that between the hands. Left foot comes through, maybe dropping the knees first to allow that to happen. And exhale, both feet together, forward fold. Inhale, lift the arms. And exhale. Palms together and then release. Good. Finding your Tadasana. Taking a moment there, excuse me, really bringing that sense of presence and awareness to that internal world. No attention to the external world for the moment. Just being present with whatever is happening inside. Okay, so from here, we are going to come into a Virabhadrasana 2, a Warrior 2. So press the ground away, lift through the right knee, and send the foot out behind you into a lunge. And then as we drop that back heel, keep that front knee above the ankle. We open the arms, hips are at the same height, reach equally into those hands. If you've got any shoulder issues, you can just rest the hands on the hips. But have a real sense of pressing into the feet, hips hugging the legs in, looking forwards. Staying with that breath, even inhale and exhale. Breathing through the nose. And then taking that into a reverse warrior, turn the front palm up, reach towards those fingers, press more firmly into that back heel as we lift. So the legs stay as they are. That back hand is just resting on the leg, no pressure. Good, and release. Inhale, lift the arms, straighten the front leg. Good, and then releasing the hands to the hip and turn that front foot in so that the toes are facing the long edge of the mat. If you need to shorten your stance, you can. Coming into a Padottanasana here, roll the shoulders back, inhale, lift through the chest. And exhale, hinge at the hips, folding forwards. Just come into a flat back. That might be a little higher for some. You might need to bend the knees a little bit. And then if you want to, you can allow that upper body to release over, hands to the mat. And you can also do this against a wall. So if you wanted, you can put your hands against the wall and just finding that flat back, just to take any pressure away from that lower back. Releasing any tension away from those shoulders. So we're really connecting in with that sense of release. Letting go of any attachments. And also letting go of anything that no longer serves us. It's not helping. And then from here, come back to your flat back. Good, hands to hips. And inhale, coming all the way back up. Good. Okay, folding the heels in. We're going to lift the arms. So keeping in with that sense of festive, a little bit of festive fun. We're coming into a star shape. And if you want to here, you can lift those heels. So we come into this rising star, reaching into the fingers, lift, pressing the ground away. Feel like we're really connected in the core and all that power is emanating out from the core, lengthening. And then lower those heels down. Well done. From here, bring your arms above your head and placing your hands behind one another to create this sparkly star, almost reminiscent of a Christmas tree with the star on the top. But we're finding that length through the arms. One more breath here. Well done. And releasing those arms all the way down, keeping the feet as they are. Bend in the knees, coming into our goddess, allowing those hips to sink as deep as you feel comfortable. Be aware that the knees aren't collapsing in, that they're pressing out behind and bending those elbows, spread into the fingers. Real powerful pose here. Really feel like you're drawing in that power, that energy that you need throughout this festive season. Good, and then releasing those arms down. If you need to straighten the legs, you can. And then lifting those arms, and we'll come into our second version of our Christmas tree. Swap the hands around and press those hands together. Good, one more breath. And releasing. Good. Inhale, coming all the way up. And hands back to the hips, and we need to do our warrior 2 and reverse warrior on the other side. So with that the front foot, we turn that in and we turn the back foot to face the back of the mat, and then bend into that knee, finding your warrior 2 here. Good. Equal reach into those hands, front knee above elbow, front knee above ankle. Breathe in here. Turn the front palm up, reach towards those fingers, lift, press into that back heel. Stay connected to that breath. And release. We're going to take a vinyasa here. If it feels okay to go to the back of your mat, you can. Otherwise, switch to the front of your mat. And we'll find our plank. Knees can be down. Lower. Inhale, cobra or sphinx. And exhale. You can go to downward dog, or you can take child's pose here. And if you want, with the arms into the side of the body. But giving yourself a moment again just to be present with the body, present with the breath, whichever of those two postures that you've taken. If you're in downward dog, really make sure that you're pressing the mat away with the hands and lifting through the sitting bone. If you ended up kind of rounding in the shoulders just to get the heels down, we want to alter that so we've got that deep crease at the hip. So another couple of breaths here. Really being present with that breath. Use that as your anchor point. If the mind tries to distract you, keep coming back to the breath. You can count it again, or just really notice that sensation of the breath. So let's come back to downward dog if you're in child's pose. And then from here, bend the knees, look between the hands. And you can just walk the feet in, or you can step them. You could even jump them towards the hands. Halfway lift, hands to shins. Exhale, fold, hinging at the hips. And inhale, open the arms, lift. And exhale. And release. And then just coming back to the front of your mat and finding your Tadasana. Again, that real sense of presence here. Good. Coming into Chandrasana. Inhale, lift the arms. Interlace the fingers, come into a pistol grip. Send the ground away with the feet. And reaching over to that right hand side. Keep both feet pushing down into the mat. And again, the shape of this posture can also be reminiscent of candy canes that we might see on the tree. Good. And engage into those obliques, releasing those arms, and then taking them back up again. Interlace the fingers again, but do it the opposite way. So whatever your habitual kind of pattern is, change it in the other direction. It will feel very strange, but it's good to find a little bit of change as well with these things. Press the ground away. Keep pressing the ground away as we reach up and over. So it feels like a little water fountain. Again, into Chandrasana. Looking a little bit like a candy cane here. And release. Good. Releasing those arms down. Little roll through the shoulder. And then bring the palms together. Coming into Vriksasana, tree. Press the ground away with your right foot. Lift through your left knee. And we're going to take that knee to the side without moving the pelvis. And then foot to ankle, calf or thigh. Whichever one suits you. Good. And this isn't any type of tree. It's a partridge. It's not a partridge tree. It is a partridge tree. Pear tree. It's a pear tree, not a partridge tree. So we have a partridge in the pear tree. So you can stay here, or you can change your hand position into a little bird. And this is going to shift our balance. So we're going to actually move these hands. And we're going to test our balance a little bit here. So it's going to come all the way up. Good. And all the way down to rest on the other side. And again, lifting. See if we can stay in that balance as we do it. Well done. And then releasing the palms together. Folding that knee in, releasing the foot. Good. And then from here, taking that foot down, just walk through those heels. Walk through those heels a moment. And then we're going to lift up through that left knee again. And we're going to extend that leg forward. So it can be low down, but see if you can really reach. So again, this is reminiscent of that start of a leap from Lords a Leaping in that very lovely Christmas song. You can point the foot, you can flex it, you can lift the leg higher. And then releasing it all the way down. And then from here, lifting that foot up behind you. Taking hold of your foot, and you can hold onto a wall to do this. And just tuck the tailbone under, feeling that stretch through the quad. So just as there was Lords of Leaping, there was also Ladies Dancing. So we're going to come into dancer pose now, Natyaranjasana. If you want, you can extend that arm out ahead. You can keep it up above. You could stay here. Or as we begin to push the foot into the hand, we create that more back bend position, holding onto a wall if you need to. Or you could stay in that initial position. If you want, you can push that foot a little bit higher. Oh, I've taken myself off balance there. So a little bit of challenge there as well. And then coming all the way back up. Good. Can we bring that leg back out ahead into that lengthened position? Lords of Leaping. And then taking that foot out behind you into your crescent lunge. Press the ground away, lifting up. And take a vinyasa, hands to the mat. Finding your plank. Lowering down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Coming into that quiet space, connected to breath. Really noticing and feeling into the body. Coming back to downward dog if you are in child's pose. And from downward dog, we bend the knees, look between the hands and bring the feet through, walking them, stepping them or jumping. Hands to shins, inhale. And exhale, fold. And inhale, lift the arms. And bringing the hands down. Releasing. Good. Let's take our Chandrasana again. Inhale. Press the ground away, coming over to the left. Keep pressing the feet firmly. And return. Releasing those arms. Little roll through the shoulders if you want to. Take the arms up, interlace the fingers the opposite way. Always feels strange. And lifting as we take that over to the right. Pressing the ground away firmly so we've got that lift through the waist. Exhale. Drawing all the way up, releasing those hands down, palms together. Press the foot into the left foot into the ground, lift the right knee. Knee to the side. Foot to calf or to ankle or to your inner thigh. The top of that thigh. Pressing the ground away, foot and leg pressing together. Just staying here. You can take the arms up and out if you want. Or we can bring in our partridge that's resting in the pear tree. And see if we can allow it to fly up. And open. I don't know if I'm going to stay balanced on this side. Bringing it back in. Good. And then releasing the hands. Back to centre. Fold that knee in. So you can keep that thigh lifted. Press the ground away with the supporting leg. And then send that foot forward. You can flex it or point it. Like we're taking a giant leap through the air. Good, and bringing it back down to the ground. And then from here, lifting up through that foot. See if you can find that foot with your hand, holding on to something if you need to for balance. Feel that stretch through the quad first of all here, before we come into our Natyaranjasana. Release, you can have your arm up ahead and you can stay here or holding on. Or we begin to press press that foot into the hand. Stay open through the chest. So we're allowing more of a back bend now. And if you want to tilt it a little bit more, you can. And then returning, releasing that foot down, taking it back through into the extended leg, and then folding it in, sending it out behind you, sweeping the arms up into our crescent lunge, and time for a vinyasa. Release the hands down, finding your plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, Sphinx or Cobra, shoulders down, glutes engaged. Exhale, Downward Dog or Child's Pose, Balasana. Taking your arms wherever feels good, out ahead or by the side if you're in Child's Pose. If you're in Downward Dog, lifting through the sitting bones, pressing the ground away with the hands. Keep coming back to the breath. Again, that intention just to be present in this moment. Cultivating that sense of presence so that we're able to take it away with us off the mat. And then from here, coming into your Downward Dog, if you're not already there. And then from there, bend the knees up between the hands and we bring the feet to the outside edges of the hands. Stay in that forward fold. And we can allow either the toes to go forward or we can turn them out a little bit. And we're going to lower those knees down, lower them a little bit, and then exhale, lift the hips. We're going to do that again. Lower the hips a little bit further this time, and then send them back up to the sky. And then we're coming into Malasana, garland pose. So we can't often see Christmas garlands around, don't we? Now if you need to, grab a block. And as we lower those hips down, it's quite a deep squat, so you might need to place a block just underneath your tailbone. And that can be at different heights. So if you need to have it a little bit higher, you might need to just make sure you're in the right spot so you don't miss it. And you can also just press into those hips. So even a low chair is good for this one. Taking a breath. And if you want to, you can really kind of see if you can find, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, find the bind to really find that connection like we see all those Christmas garlands that children might make in school around. Otherwise we're just staying there. Good. And then hands to the mat, lift through those hips and just walk the feet in. And just make sure at the back of your mat. And then from here, we're going to walk the hands forwards until we're in our plank. Drop the knees if that's a better option for you. And then lowering all the way down. So from here, keeping the hands by the chest, bring your left foot in and see if you can reach it with your left hand. And just feel like you're drawing that foot towards your glute. You can stay here, or you can gently push the foot into the hand, lift through the chest a little, and coming into our half bow. Don't have to push too hard into that hand, and if you want, you can keep that hand by your chest, releasing down. And let's take that onto the other side. So we're drawing your right foot in, finding it with your right hand, You could stay here, or as we lift the chest and push the foot into the hand, you've got an option also to extend into that left arm. And then releasing. Let those legs come down, bring the hands in front of you, forehead onto the hands. And just shift the hips from side to side. Taking a little rocking motion here. And then you can either repeat that, do one foot and then the other, or we'll do both at the same time. So finding the feet first. As we come into Dhanurasana bow pose, and if you flex the feet and lift, again we've got a position that's reminiscent of Santa's sleigh. Pressing into those hands, open through the chest, stay engaged through the back of the body. And then when you're ready, releasing, allowing those feet to come back, hands by the chest. And then from here, press the ground away, send the hips back to the heels into child's pose. Options for arms by the side. Take in a moment, starting to slow down now, ready to come into our final few positions, slowing that breath down. And then from here, coming back into your tabletop, let's take a final cat-cow. Inhale, lifting the head, lifting the tailbone. Exhale, draw the navel in. And once more, inhale. And exhale. Releasing into your tabletop, cross at the ankles and sit behind, or whichever other way you prefer to move into a seated position. And then from here, let's come all the way down onto the back. So release the feet out, guiding yourself down onto your back. Let those knees fold in and give them a little bit of a hug here. Let's finish with happy baby. So you can clasp the hands behind the thighs, flex the feet, or you can hold on to the edges of the feet, or hooking your fingers around your big toes. Lengthen the tailbone to the front of the mat so we've got a neutral spine. So as we draw down on those feet, the knees are coming towards the armpits. We're in a neutral position with the spine. And if you want, you can pull on one foot and then the other to get that little rock. Finding that sense of joy in this position. The joy that very young children find in the most simple of things. Usually the wrapping paper on Christmas Day in the boxes. And then releasing the feet down. Good. All the way to the mat. Hip distance apart. And then allowing those knees to drop over to the right, keeping your shoulders on the mat. If you want a slightly deeper twist, then stack that left knee above the right knee. Open the arms here. Slowing that breath down as we find ourselves in this reclined twist. And then hips back to the mat. Good. And again, dropping the knees over to the left. You can stay here where they land, or you can stack your right knee on top of your left. Keeping the shoulders on the mat. And then bring in your hips back to the mat. Let your arms come into the side of the body. If you've got any sensitivity in the lower back, keep your knees bent but feet wide. Let the knees drop together, and then you can stay in a position without any effort. Alternatively, send the feet towards the corners of the mat, lengthening the legs, and let your knees and your toes just drop out to the side. Press the back of the head into the mat, scoop the shoulders underneath the heart, feeling open through the chest. And then once more, give in to gravity here as we arrive into Shavasana. So if you stay here in this position, I'm just going to sit up again so I can guide you through. So really taking some time here now to completely let go. We've really moved through the body, so allowing a sense of quiet now and stillness. Feel the body release and soften the skin across the forehead and around the eyes. Keep the mouth closed. Breathe in through the nose. And again, bring in that sense of equal inhale and exhale to the breath. But as an alternative, if you want to here, you can make the exhale last longer than the inhale. So maybe 4 counts in for the inhale, 6 counts out for the exhale. And with each exhale, feel the body soften, any tension melting away. And if the mind wanders, it's totally normal. Let's see if you can guide it back, just to focus on the breath. Just a couple more breaths here. So as you rest here in Shavasana, we really cultivate that sense of calm, that sense of being present right now in each moment. And we set an intention to practice this off the mat also into everyday life. And allowing ourselves to be open to those moments of joy that we can find around us. We might just need to look for them. Find gratitude for everything that we already have. So transfer that sense of gratitude now towards your body for taking you through the practice. And then let's bring some movement back in, so we wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, circle the wrists and the ankles, and lengthen the arms, lengthen the legs, draw the knees in, give yourself a great big hug, really transferring that sense of love and gratitude towards yourself. Releasing the head and the shoulders back down. Let go of the knees. Come over to your right hand side. stacking your shoulders, your hips and your knees, and allowing your head to rest on the mat. And then from here, place the left hand on the floor in front of the chest, lengthen the left leg, guide yourself back up, crossing, coming back to a seated position, whatever that is for you, maybe kneeling. Bring the palms together, rest the thumbs against the sternum, gently bow the head. Take a breath in and out. So feeling connected through mind and body, feeling present and connected into that feeling, that awareness of presence, knowing that we can take it forward with us now into our daily lives. And feeling calm and able to approach the rest of this festive season with a sense of non-attachment, but always open and able to recognize the joy in the smallest of things. Allowing your eyes to open. And thank you so much for taking your practice this morning with me, or this afternoon or evening, whenever you're doing this practice. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year, and thanks again.